sister, don't wear it. It's me. It's my personal choice.
But yes, and in a free society, the opinions of other people also have to matter. It's not just about you exercising your choice. The way other people feel about that should be of some concern to you.
But you know, these feelings are coming from negative prejudices.
We have
coming from
You don't want
politicians.
men's opinions? No. You don't want men's opinions?
I'm sorry, we are going to have to end it there. I'm really sorry.
As the only man, I'm sorry you don't...
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Nanefia Scholars. Today, you're back with another video from Douglas Murray. So today, Douglas Murray schools Muslim activists wearing niqab in Britain. Okay, this is actually called niqab, hijab, or hibab. I normally get the pronunciation wrong. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's get started.
My mum, my sister, don't wear it. It's me. It's my personal choice.
But yes, and in a free society, the opinions of other people also have to matter. It's not just about you exercising your choice. The way other people feel about that should be of some concern to you.
But you know, these feelings are coming from negative prejudices.
We have
coming from
You don't want
politicians.
men's opinions? No. You don't want men's opinions?
I'm sorry, we are going to have to end it there. I'm really sorry.
As the only man, I'm sorry you don't want to hear men's opinions.
You are about to see Douglas Murray tell the truth as it is. Douglas Murray debates a panel of Muslim scholars on the influence of religion, particularly Islam, in the West today. Douglas Murray speaks what is on most people's mind today in the West, but what most are afraid to say. Douglas Murray did not hold back.
Can I just begin with you, Fatima?
Yes.
56% of British people don't really support the wearing of the full face veil in public. They don't want it.
Well, I think it depends on where you take the poll, really, because, something that I've recently launched is a project called Secrets of a Muslim Woman, and it's all about letting people know why we do what we do, because I think a lot of it is to do with not really being familiar with it. You know, I mean, my message to the British public is that you've got nothing to fear. You know, this is a piece of cloth.
They don't feel that, though, do they? Because elsewhere in this poll, a majority said they don't know how to relate to a woman wearing a full face veil.
I think, you know, the people who have actually interacted with women who wear the face veil, people who work with them. I mean, we're in East London today. In East London, the veil is practically, you know, normal on the streets of East London. People who've actually interacted and worked with women who wear the veil have absolutely no problem with it. I think it's a fear of the unknown.
Douglas Murray, would you like to see the veil banned here?
Well, I think, like a majority of British people, I think that it should be banned in public places, particularly places like courtrooms, where it's absolutely imperative that a jury are able to see the faces of people who are accused. As for an overall ban, I think, look, my own opinion is that niqab is highly undesirable. I think that we live in a society where people do show their faces, where huge amounts of our social interaction depend on people showing their faces. I think that it's very difficult to enforce a ban in public places like streets, but it should be certainly a desirable thing to discourage its wearing.
To impose a ban, but in principle you'd like to see one because you think in Britain it's unacceptable.
In public buildings, in courts, in schools and places like this, absolutely, I think a ban would be very sensible. In streets and so on, I think it's difficult, but it should be societally discouraged.
Douglas Murray's stance on the ban of the niqab in public spaces in the UK, particularly in sensitive environments like courtrooms, is grounded in a broader argument about the fundamental requirements of a liberal and open society. A significant portion of human communication relies on facial expressions and visual cues, which are obscured when the niqab is worn. This impediment can hinder social interactions and, more critically, the basic operations of institutions that rely on facial recognition and expressions for identification and communication purposes. Douglas Murray's argument is supported by statistics and public opinion trends indicating a growing discomfort with the niqab in the UK. Surveys, such as those conducted by YouGov, have shown that a substantial majority of the British public supports restrictions on wearing the niqab in public spaces, especially in places where identification and open communication are essential, such as schools, airports, and courtrooms. This sentiment is not isolated to the UK. Similar attitudes can be observed across Europe, with countries like France, Belgium, and Denmark implementing various bans on full-face veils. The Muslim activists' counter-argument that negative sentiments towards the niqab stem from a lack of education and interaction with Muslim women who wear it, while calling for more understanding, overlooks the practical implications of such garments in public and civic life. It's essential to differentiate between promoting cultural sensitivity and recognizing the operational necessities of a society's public and legal systems. Beyond practical reasons, the niqab's presence in public life raises deeper questions about the integration and visibility of women in society. Critics like AI and Hirsi Ali have voiced concerns that the niqab may symbolize the segregation of women from public life and the suppression of their individual identities. Such perspectives are crucial in the debate over how liberal societies should navigate the delicate balance between respecting cultural and religious practices and upholding the principles of equality and openness.
Accommodate religious expression in this country. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses who don't want blood transfusions, Sikh people who want to wear turbans. We make exceptions, you know, in certain situations. And so, look, you know, I really want to reach out to the public and say, you've got nothing to fear from us.
But take up Yasmin's,
I was born in this country. I love this country.
Take up Yasmin's point that this is about exceptionalism. Take up Yasmin Alibhai-Brown's point about this is about exceptionalism.
We accommodate, don't we, in this country, and in my country, Britain, we accommodate religious expression. And we do make exceptions for people. And there's nothing, and that's what I thought.
And we cannot destroy the minorities and the religious belief in the name of equality.
But what if the majority feel uncomfortable, feel uneasy and say they don't want it?
I think then the onus is on us as well, isn't it? I mean, to actually reach out. And I'm hoping that this is just going one step towards that, to say to people, look, you know, we're human beings just like you.
But if I may very quickly, religious freedom is an extremely important thing, and I think most people who would agree, I hope in this room, that Britain is the most tolerant place in the world to live, including as a Muslim.
Yeah.
But let's just add one thing to this, if I may. The issue of social interaction is very important, and not just to me, but obviously to a majority of the British people. Yeah. What I say tonight, what Yasmin says and other people say tonight, people see our faces, they know who said it. I'm sorry to say this, but nobody knows who you are. They can hear your name, they can't see you. If I say something stupid on television tonight, people know it's me saying it. If you do, with all due respect, you can disappear and no one knows.
No, we're not disappearing. You can see us here, come on.
The meaning of this thing is extremely important to address. The meaning of this thing is women are by nature dangerous to men and society. Therefore, they must be covered, they must be buried. That's the meaning of it. And that's what I cannot accept.
Douglas Murray, aligning with Yasmin Alibhai-Brown's commentary, emphasizes that the niqab symbolizes more than just a religious or cultural garment. It represents a deeper ideological stance on the role and visibility of women in society. The niqab reflects a view that women are inherently a source of temptation, necessitating their physical concealment from the public eye to maintain societal decorum. This perspective inherently contradicts the principles of gender equality and individual freedom championed in liberal societies. This critique resonates with broader feminist analyses of veiling practices. Scholars and activists argue that requiring women to cover their faces in public is a manifestation of patriarchal control over women's bodies and choices. Such practices, they assert, not only segregate women from the social and political life of their communities, but also reinforce the notion that women are primarily responsible for controlling men's sexual behavior, thereby perpetuating gender inequality. Statistics from various human rights organizations underscore the impact of such ideologies on women's rights and societal integration. For instance, reports from the United Nations have highlighted how dress codes enforced on religious or cultural grounds can impede women's access to services, employment, and education, limiting their opportunities for personal and economic development. The encouragement of niqab wearing in public settings not only hinders women's visibility and participation in public life, but also symbolically takes a step back in the hard-won advancements for women's rights. The niqab, in this view, is not just a personal or isolated choice, but a public statement with implications for how women's roles and rights are perceived and enacted in society.
Wow, I mean, that was educative. Aside the interaction and the debate, that was really educative. And first of all, let me say, how do you really pronounce this word? Is it niqab or hijab? Because I have been saying, I have been mentioning it hijab for like forever. So this is my first time actually hearing it being called niqab. And secondly, what do you think about this? I think both has a point, you know. I really understand where Douglas Murray is coming from, you know. You need to show yourself, especially when you are in public settings, schools, you know, airports, bus stations, you know, courtrooms. You need to show yourself. You know, you are being called to testify in court, and you've covered your face like this. How do you expect us to see you? How do you expect us to even trust what you're coming to say, you know. So I think he has a point. But then I feel like it's a culture practice, you know. It's a religious practice, as they say, and that's their culture. That's who they are, you know. Douglas Murray, no one can tell you how to dress from your house to a speech giving like this. You know, you stood up in the morning, take a shower, dress, and you came here. So I think that's their religion. You know, hijab have been there since forever. I don't know why we keep on debating about this every time and then. You know, that's the religious, it's their religion. You know, no one can come to you and teach you or tell you how you should go about your religious practice. So I feel like that's their religion. So we should just free them for them to do whatever they want to do, honestly. And I'm a fan of hijab. I always say it makes them unique. It identifies them, you know. If we hear and you see a woman in hijab coming towards you, you know, obviously she is a Muslim, or you know, she worship Islamic, you know. I mean, she's a Muslim. It's their identity. That's what identifies them. And as she said, hijab is not just the religion. It goes way deeper than it's meant. Yes, that's what they believe in. That's their religious belief. That's their belief. No one can tell you what you should believe and how you should go about your religion. So I think they have a point. But honestly, as we are talking about these good aspects, let me just say this. When it goes beyond that, when they put on these cover up, like when they cover up their faces like this, sometimes I understand Douglas Murray's point. It's sometimes scary. It's so especially the black ones. It's so scary, and seeing this in public, you know, automatically you you just identify this person as a terrorist. And if something bad just happens right now and it's a terrorist like behavior, you obviously turn to the person and you obviously know it's coming from this side. You know, we see those dressed up as a sign or a symbol of terrorism, and which is not accepted, and which is not supposed to be that way. But like that's how we see it, you know. So for us, we are giving it an identification of your dress up, identifying who you are. You know, you have to know that there is a disadvantage to that, you know. And I really to talk of it, the activists, the human rights activist point, I really understand. They said if this dressing, this niqab dressing is just a symbol of you, I mean, a symbol of protection for your husband, you dressing up like this, not to tempt, you know, tempt people. If it's about that, then I don't think it's meaningful, because it doesn't give you a woman as a right. You know, men they should take responsibility of their sexual behaviors. You don't have to go on dressing like this just because you don't want to tempt people, or you want to protect your husband, you know. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. But then I agree the argument Fatima made against that. She said it goes beyond that marital, you know, aspect. It's a religion, it's a cultural practice, and if that is the reason, then I think she has a point. And how I say, beliefs are beliefs. No one can tell you what you need to believe. So for us, it's not going against someone's right. It's not going against someone's. It's not causing any harm to someone, or it's not causing, you know, physical or emotional harm to someone. I think beliefs are beliefs. You don't. I personally, I'll not accept you coming towards me to tell me how I should believe or how I should go about with my belief. So I don't think we need to keep on debating on how they should dress. So for us, it's not causing harm to anybody. You know, it's not hurting anybody directly or indirectly. I think, you know. But then, if this dress up is causing public scare, yeah, I think that is a point that Douglas Murray was trying to make. They should be this dress up should be banned in courtrooms, churches, courtrooms, schools, airports, bus stations, as in all public places. What do you actually think? Do you think we should ban hijab, wearing of hijab from these public places? Let me know what you actually think. Personally, I think Douglas has a point, our activist too has a point, and I think Fatima and his colleague also they have a point in their own way. It's a religion, it's their belief, it's a culture, So let me actually let me leave you for you to be the judge of this, Should you think they should actually ban the hijab from public places, or they should ban the hijab like from Europe as a whole? Let me know what you think. Actually, I really learned a lot from this. Let me know what you also think about this video. If you are new to my channel too, welcome. Don't forget to click on the subscription button for more notifications. Thanks for watching.